Hello, I am Fabio Sgaragli and I'm the expert of the CURANT project, an ambitious experiment led by the City of Antwerp in Belgium and funded by the Urban Innovative Action Programme of the European Commission. The CURANT project provides integrated services for young refugees once they reach adulthood and attempts to integrate them in society through a variety of support services and a very innovative co-housing scheme where they get to live with the young bodies from the city. After 3 years of intense work, the project has come to an end. So the question is, what is left of the project? What is its legacy? We will try to answer this question through a series of interviews with some of the people that made it possible. So we'll hear the views from the two co-leaders of the project, Jolien de Crom and Marianne de Can. We'll hear the views of the stakeholders and the partners involved in its implementation, from the core team, and of course, from some of the bodies that were involved as beneficiaries. I hope you will find this documentary useful, interesting, as the CURANT project was a very innovative project, dealing with one of the most pressing challenges of our time for cities, the integration of migrants and refugees. I hope you enjoy the view.
Of course, CURANT meant a lot for my personal growth, for my personal experiences and expertise that I have been building up in my career. So for me, myself, it has been really a big project and a big achievement. I'm also sure that CURANT meant something for participants in many different ways. I do not believe that it had the same effect on everyone in the project, but I do believe that it strengthened some persons, as well as local bodies, social workers, refugees. And when you see a refugee being confident to speak Dutch, a body whose family is more tolerant against refugees, a social worker who internalized his expertise, then I'm so happy to see that we achieved that by the project. And it's difficult to predict if CURANT is life-changing for some participants, but I can predict for sure that it's, even with small steps, it helps the life of some vulnerable people. CURANT will be sustained, and that's a big achievement. CURANT will sustain on a small scale, so we will have around 7 buddies and 7 refugees living together by September 2020. I'm happy that we can keep working on improving CURANT so it meets the needs of the youngsters even better in the next CURANT 2.0. So I think what's made CURANT so special is that it was a really good working team, really flexible people, but also really good partnership. We had no fuss with any partners. We had all partners that worked really well together. When we came all to a partnership meeting, it was fun, it was dynamic. We never complained about the extra work that CURANT brought with it, because a UIA project, an international project, always is more difficult than expected. There are more dimensions coming in the project, but all those dimensions, the partnership tackled it really, really well as a team, and definitely also the expert, Fabio, and the UIA consortium, the UIA team that supported us throughout the way.
A very important impact is the added value of cohabitation from a vulnerable refugee who's here without parents or without supportive network, living together with a local body, and the added value that has on the integration of young refugees, integrations in means of developing language skills, but also in getting to know the habits and expectations of the city of Flanders, of Belgium. What do we expect here from young people? Yeah, well, I think the project, it promoted the cooperation within several departments of the city of Antwerp, and that was often new. We didn't know the people who were working on housing or on safety also, or on the legal services, so we had to work closely together, and that was not always easy. But we could find a common ground on I think everyone agreed that this was a project to help vulnerable youngsters, and everyone agreed on the principle, on the theme that that was a very that the project was worthwhile. I think everyone, we would have hoped to have more impact on the legislation of co-housing. Even on an Antwerp level, it was not that big. So of course, it's because it's not only the Antwerp level, it's Flanders that that rules the legislation on that topic. But I do think we managed to, to make clear that there's a need to change, to make some changes on that legislation. And what will happen, that we are not sure, we don't know. What I personally learned is that when you can work working in a project like CURANT, where you are really focused on the well-being of a very vulnerable group of people. First of all, you meet a lot of barriers that you did not anticipate. So you have to be very creative to look for solutions. But it's worthwhile doing this. Even if there are some setbacks or serious problems, you remain motivated by the goal of the project.
But I met him during the project when I was living with the second housemate, and he was really a nice guy and very grateful always, and always helpful. So at one point, as kind of a joke, I asked him like, where are you gonna live after the project ends? And he said, I don't know. I said, maybe you can live with me, as a joke, I said. And he was completely like, he immediately agreed with this, and he said, yeah, I really want to. And that's how we ended up together, living together now.
I am from Syria. I am Kurd from Syria. So my family is, everyone is Kurd, but we talk Arabic also. I live in Syria 12 years. And so the wars come.
The war.
So we go together with my family to Turkey, to Istanbul. And I live with my family there, you can say almost 3 years. I have worked there in a restaurant and live there with my family. I can also Turkish speak, but not perfect, just little. And I come to Belgium was 5 years ago.
And before I was really Belgian, European. I went partying a lot. I didn't think a lot of what I said, and I just lived the way we live here. But since the project, I really learned more about values of people, how people in other cultures live, and what is important in their culture of people, and also what they've been through in the war in their country. They also changed as a person to make them like their values are different than our values. And I think it's important to appreciate the small things in life and appreciate every minute you can spend with someone you admire or you love. So that's how my personality changed in this project.
No, I want first to work in Belgium. I will first try to study theater if it's allowed for me. If it's not allowed, so I will be sure for work for my future and live here. So I don't know in the future what is, I don't know. So just my gut, he know that because it's future. You know, you don't know what will come to you. So, but I hope everything will be okay for me. But sure, I will work and I will make myself good boy for my future, like my father. What he have do that for my brother and sister and family. So I won't be like my father. So good boy for everyone, like that. Just
I think the main thing is respect. It's important to respect everyone and everything also. Culture is something you are born in and you're raised in, and it's not something you can just change. It's something you have in your blood. So respect is something you really have to have for everyone with another culture, but also for yourself and for other people in your culture, which is important to have a society where everyone respects each other, and talking about the differences in culture and asking why this is a difference or why this is important in their culture and not important in your culture. It's helps a lot, and because the main thing is to listen to this person and show him respect, and the moment you show respect you will get respect back.
everyone, we are people. We are not. I am not dog. You are not. We are. We are everyone. I have eyes. You have eyes. I have heart. You have heart. So same. So I hope people do something good.
I think you could say that CURANT was quite a success for Wasil and me, because we liked living together, and it feels like we've built a friendship that also seems to last now that he needed to live somewhere else. So I wanted to carry on with that because of the success. I wanted to carry on with the same concept. And it's also because of CURANT that I became aware that housing is quite a problem for non-guided young refugees. And my house has a space to co-house. I wanted to do that anyways. And it feels good to help out there. And also for me, it's just simply more fun to live with someone else. And on top of that, I think it's way more interesting to live with someone with a different background, because that also puts the way I live, it puts things in perspective. Living with someone that has a different background, a different cultural background, it feels for me that it puts things in perspective about how I live, and by extent how we live here in the Western world. I feel that through my housemate, I've learned more from, for example, the Afghan culture, the Islamic culture, or very specific how it is like, what it is like to be a refugee. And it's because I believe that through all the small talks and very personal stories we've shared, that it gave me more tangible info about a bigger thematics. And it's info I would never been able to get through the news or any other media. So in general, it means a lot to me. It meant a lot to me to understand the personal story, how it was like for Wasil and his family to come to Europe, and how that relates to how I'm living here, how we are living here.
What I will always remember is the speed and the grandeur of the project. That was something unseen for me. Some people like to have a clearly defined project and task. With UIA projects, that seems impossible to me. Innovation requires continuous critical analysis, corrections, and adjustments. That goes hand in hand with sort of healthy chaos in my head. And today I meet some of the CURANT people in the city, and they look good. They have become adult men or women. It's really a transformation, and they are very preoccupied with their looks and image. I see them walking around with friends, with girlfriends. They have a plan in their life. I think that's the most important part, and we've helped them figure out their way. And this is so difficult in this complex globalized world, with too many choices and a focus on individual responsibility. And this transformation really gives me goosebumps, and I really enjoy meeting young people again now, and see the difference. And as a trainer, I had a part in empowering the young people, and yeah, of course it feels very good. I'm also proud of that. I've also learned that both buddies and newcomers don't differ much from each other, and I think it's a nice conclusion. They are both young. They are searching people, looking for meaning, for love, for friendship. They both make mistakes, but mistakes always give learning opportunities. And CURANT has given both buddies and newcomers these opportunities.
The CURANT project will be prolonged. So the local government will financially support it. And we will start with the project in September again. But now I have still 2 duos. So 2 refugees who I'm the social assistant from. And in September, there will be 8 refugees, yes, who will come into the CURANT project. Before I worked in CURANT, I was also a social assistant in social services. And I had, I think, 60 people who I saw every month for 15 minutes or half an hour. But the only thing that I could do was to give them feedback and to say, okay, you have to go to there, and ask that, or did a phone call or send an email. But in the CURANT project, I actually had the chance to go with the refugees, to go to the bank, to go to the doctor, to go to school, and also go to parent contacts, to proclamations, also, yeah, to make the difference and to help them. What I've learned is that you first have to earn the trust of the people you work with. You first have to work on that strong connection between the both of you. So earn their trust, get to know them better. And that you can do by helping them with small things. And if you have that trust, then you have a better connection, and you can give better support to them.
On the other hand, we're also very surprised that the people who wanted to be buddy were so diverse in age, in gender, in background, interests, also education level, profession, and so on. And they all wanted to share their living space, which is of course a very private aspect of their lives, with a refugee, a real stranger. So we think the impact for the refugees is the informal support they have of their housemates. Besides the psychologist, besides the social worker, they got new sort of sibling relationship with their buddy, and that's we think that is very important for them. It's more worth than all the professional relationships. But also the impact on the side of the buddies is that they really got a sort of open and realistic view on the life of a young refugee in Belgium. And this form of integration, working with housemates, we think is, thanks to this project, is really explored. And we're also very happy that the city of Antwerp now started again with a sort of project with co-housing with refugees, and we're also part of it. And in September, the first buddies and refugees will move in their new home, so we're very excited about it.
For us, it's really good that we work together with different partners in a project like CURANT, because everyone has their own experiences and their own expertise. We work together with psychologists, with social workers of the city, with youth workers, and they all have their own experiences, and that's really good to solve some problems that we had in the housemates living together. So it's for us a big learning to cooperate with different partners.
During the project of CURANT, it was possible for us to look at the youngsters in a holistic way and to keep in mind all the aspects of life which are really important for them. Working together with different partners during the project was without any doubt the project's strength, and it was a very enriching experience. There were challenges because sometimes different partners have a different idea of what needs to happen. But in the process of the project, we learned to know each other better, and we also knew better what we could expect from the other partner. And this made us stronger.
The fact that we had a holistic view on the youngsters, that all the partners had their focus on what to do with those youngsters, that gave us counselors the opportunity to work more on the self-development of the youngsters. We were able to focus more on the extra questions they had. We had to spend less time concerning the preconditions for the youngsters, because in contrast to a normal work, we have to look at those preconditions, and in this case we didn't have to do it with the youngsters, so that was a big help in our work.
Our role was to work on key career competencies so that young people get a stronger position on the employment market, but combine this with self-development. And we also noticed when we talked with the different partners that this was also an impact for them, for the bigger impact on the policy level of Antwerp, for the refugees themselves. For me, the partnerships are a very big lasting impact, and the experience with the target group. How important strong partnerships are for doing good work and for helping young people. There's a very big difference with a partnership on paper and having an engaged team that knows each other and really trusts each other and sends people to each other, but also who is still motivated when certain things don't go well or go wrong or have to be reevaluated, to just do the work again when there's an incident, to look, okay, what can we learn from this, and really keep going. This drive and this boost was very much there in the CURANT project, and it was felt throughout the partnership, throughout the partners.
So after hearing all the different views in the video, we know that the CURANT left a legacy. It left a legacy, first of all, in the people involved in the project with different roles and at different levels. For some of them, this has represented a life-changing experience, but it also changed the approach to legislation at the city and regional level, and maybe in the mindset of the citizens of Antwerp. You can learn more about this project on the UIA website, where you can find articles and journals that go deeper in some of the challenges and the issues that the project had to deal with. From my side, I can only say that it was an incredible privilege to work as an expert on this project. And I'd like to thank the UIA program for making it possible, but mostly I'd like to thank and congratulate the team that made an impressive work in managing a project that has changed the face of City of Antwerp when it comes to the integration of migrants and refugees. Thank you and goodbye.